students, and parents and well-wishers who have gathered here. I believe they are also in fact in another auditorium. I want to talk to these young minds about three things. What is technology? What does ITM do? And what is our product? Technology when I graduated was working with machines, working with devices, participating in the design and manufacture or installation of such mechanical, electrical, later electronic devices. I graduated in 61, electrical engineering honors. I found that electrical engineering companies don't need electrical engineers, they need mechanical engineers. So I was in the wrong place, didn't get a job. Starting salaries were 100, rupees in those days. But I found somebody giving me training stipend of 250 rupees in Kolkata. For a young man of 20 years, Kalighat Junction on Rasbihar Avenue, 2 streets away from the Ma Kalika Mandir. In the evening, if you go, that is heaven. You know that all Bengali girls are very fair and beautiful and also sing well. And they get all dressed up. To go to the temple, it is compulsory. You must be very well dressed up. No Bengali girl will go to a temple. She may go, she may ignore dressing up for a date, but not for a temple. So we spend an hour in Kalighat Junction and go home and sleep. That was the kind of job I got for 250 rupees per month. What was it? Learning welding. I was a welding apprentice in Indian Oxygen. 9 months course. Morning 9 to evening 6, welding, go home, have a bath and sleep. Then I joined Blue Star, an air conditioning company. I learned, I was having two phases there. I was an air conditioning engineer as well as a sensors and control engineer for Honeywell distribution that we had in those days. My boss of that time became the managing director of Honeywell India later. Subsequently, the bug bit me and got married, had a kid, and by 1970, 9 years later, I realized that I'm just a graduate engineer knowing some engineering, nothing beyond that. I needed knowledge of numbers, so I went to USA, got myself an MBA degree. My wife also followed me and got myself another degree. I got a job. In 1975, the company I was employed with was threatening me with a green card. Literally. That means they forced me to file the application, got the labor certification, only one final interview was due, and I got cold feet. Then I was discussing. And myself, my wife, with whom else I will discuss this. And I was hoping that she will say no. But she said a fatal thing. Said, Ramana, you are an ambitious person. Do you want to be a second class citizen in USA or try for both of us can try for to be a first class citizen in our country? Decision was made. We packed up and came back in 75. Then a number of jobs came. I was in textiles, I was in group management. We made bunions, TTK Group, turning a loss making company around. When I came to the attention of Aditya Birla Group, they made me CEO of international stuff. That stuff was a textile mill in Philippines, polyester, nylon in Singapore, viscose in Indonesia. I think it was 6.5% of Thailand GDP in and Sairam is aware of that. A vast bit of thing was controlled by Aditya Birla Group Thailand. Then something new they wanted. So I built a Michelin tire factory in Alexandria. Carbon laid the foundation of high-tech carbon. That is, carbon black production is a very interesting thing. Like kajal is made, carbon black is made. Then we had a pyrolysis plant in Greece. Then I bought a nuclear castings unit in Saarbrücken on the border of France and Germany and ran it with 50% worker participation, labor board, supervisory board, corporate board, three-layer management in Germany. I bought a specialty chemical unit from ICICI in Staffordshire and ran it. It was in hindsight, it was wonderful because in the late 80s, that company was making chemicals for the research laboratories who were trying to make silicon wafers. Okay, that company now has an order book of 50 years, you can say. Okay, what I am saying all this technology. Am I making anything with my hand? No. If you assume a leadership position, what you need a deep understanding of technology, then men and women. Deep understanding of those. What makes you work? What do you want to do in life? Can I increase that? Wanting to do something in life, can I increase that? Can I do that by giving more money, more salary, holidays, work environment, challenges? It's a big mix. That's what drove me. I consider myself lucky because I had somehow or other kept in touch with technology. And my latest attempts to get in touch with technology is with the help of my grandson who is in Berkeley. He's just crossed, he's in second year of B.Tech CSE there, like you. But he's an intern in Lawrence Livermore lab where they experimented and succeeded. The light from that LED light is coming and hitting me, hitting you also. Can you make that stop? Have you ever thought of it? Can you stop light from traveling further? Stop in the middle of the room. Why they are working on it? Back to you. Quantum computing. In quantum computing, passing light is noise, it is a diversion, and the light cannot hit quantum computers. So how do you make it to stop light from hitting any quantum? Because it's also a quantum. Each bit of light is a quantum. If it enters the computer, your calculation is gone. So even a person who has spent 64 years work life in all these technologies can pursue understanding of technology. Think of the task ahead of you and how technology will change in your work life. Believe it or not, of course, understanding technology is a much simpler job than understanding your significant partner. Leave that alone for the time being. You will never complete that job. You are bound to pick up a partner, and both you and that girl, or that girl and that boy, will spend a lifetime trying to understand each other. That is a much more complex operation because the context window is infinite. That would put me into AI. What AI cannot do, it cannot understand. It can't be emotive. It can't fight with you. It won't contradict you illogically. And try to accommodate all your requests to the best of the abilities by putting together the entire sum of the world's knowledge at your disposal, distill it and give you an answer which is cogent and relevant. The answer depends on the quality of your question. Three problems with AI. How do you create it? How do you manage it? How do you work with it? Working with it is simplest. I am talking to you. I'm talking to the collective intelligence of all the 200 plus people assembled here, and I am able to phrase what I want to speak to you in an intelligent, clear, and direct manner. That's what you need to do with AI. Query, prompt. Therefore, your requirement in these 4 years will be an extremely high command of the English language. Practice it. Use correct words. Don't use nuances. Don't use inferences. Don't use sarcasm. Nothing works. Because the clearer your question is, the more context window the AI machine will give you. A context window is like, if it's a closed room, you want to open one small window and look into it, you will only see part of it. Can you look at the entire contents of the room? Then really in prompts what will happen. The answer lies somewhere in the very large LLM it has built in. One thing I couldn't get my head around technology is ChatGPT is supposed to have a structure LLM which has 170 billion parameters. When do you use parameters? When you're referring to a data point, you use a parameter. So each data point is capable of being assigned some of the 170 billion different characteristics that they have identified to be able to identify a data point uniquely. How is it even possible? It's beyond thinking ability. Let the machines do the thinking. So you need to be able to understand technology and work with it. Working with it in terms of when something is loose in the kitchen, I search for a screwdriver. Am I worried about how the screwdriver is made? No. I'm worried about do I have enough grip at 85 years of age to be able to turn a screw? That's all what I'm worried about. So most of you initially will be worried about creating and using tools to work with very complex machines. These tools are easy to grasp. Please remember that all programming languages are subsets of the English language. All logic used is a subset of normal logic that you use in everyday life. If you grasp that point, there is no language that you cannot learn. You have to be logical enough. Once you are logical enough in work life, I am 100% sure that your home life will be better. Maybe less interesting because it is illogic that makes life interesting. I often have another side to my character where I say, what is life without strife? One cannot dream of having a smooth life, so far it is not worth living. If your life gets boring, change it. Change it dramatically from one domain of work life knowledge to another domain where your knowledge is zero, and then your life will be interesting again. That's about technology. What is our product? As an institution, what is it we deliver? There are a lot of misconceptions around this. Most people think that any institution is a machine that takes fees for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years and delivers a degree. And also these days, as in during admissions time, we get questioned by the students that what is your starting package? How many recruiters have visited your campus? What is the highest? What is the average? They are worried about a job. So one view is that is the gateway to a job. And usually the students' views are concentrated on. No student I have encountered in 34 years of being in education. In the nearly first 10 years, myself, my wife, and Mani sir, and we had another co-founder like that, Wing Commander Babu. We used to go around big cities in India interviewing the students personally. Not one student in 34 years has said that I am joining a degree course for learning something. No single person has said it. But even though we force you into learning something, that is a misconception. Parents, they said we are invested with an MBA. I'm talking about it. An MBA, an average good top five MBA schools in Bombay, cost of the degree. I need more time. Don't cut me off. Okay, sir. Our degree is 15 to 20 lakhs. So parents are thinking I made an investment. I've taken a loan. I've pledged my house. I begged and borrowed and putting you through. That is an investment. In the hope that you will get a good job, you will bring up the family, you will take care of your brothers and sisters, and be of some help to them during their old age. That is also wrong. It is not an investment. Then what is our product? Our definition, which I try to tell at either convocation or admission time like this, is that we are in the business of increasing your value. Do you understand that concept? As a 12th pass kid, what is your value in the market? If you are forced to do a job, what kind of a job you will get? In 4 years, because the engineering degree, in MBA it is only 2 year degree. In 2 years, we try to increase your perceived value. Please remember this. There is nothing called true value. It is perceived value. In friendship, in marriage, in job, in workplace, values are perceived. They cannot be measured. What do you see in making a friend? It's something undefined. You perceive, yes, in this friendship I will get trust and I will get affection. Trust being more important. So we try to increase your perceived value as seen in that order of preference by your family, by your social circle, by your social media. Now I have to add that. And at your workplace. And if you are contributing to society in some other fashion, like joining an activist group or clean the beaches or clean the corals, in that group, your perceived value must increase. We can only try this for 4 years. Who will increase your perceived value during the rest of your work life, maybe 30, 40 years? You. You have to increase your perceived value. How is value perceived? By your conduct, by your language, and by your knowledge. You know more, you speak well, and you behave well. These three things create a concept called you can be trusted. Being trusted leads to leadership. Being a leader leads to ownership. That's the that is ITM's product. And how can we give this perceived value to you? To be true to our brand. ITM stands for an ethical contact. We never sell a seat, we don't do reservations. We do by merit only. The minister sends a letter to us, we ask him to personally come and deliver the letter to the admissions officer. He has to come. The minister wants to recommend somebody. That's how we strive to keep our value, perceived value of ITM high, so that our students get the same branding when they come out. Oh, you're from ITM. 90% of corporate doors will open for you when you give this. In B.Tech, we have something unique which we don't have in MBA. In MBA, I can't tell the students करके दिखाओ उधर सोच के दिखाओ प्रेजेंट करके दिखाओ B.Tech students, every single day of your life, your faculty, your peers, your groups, you have to do something that works and show it. I think there is a presentation of that which follows, right? And what you do, you must be in the standard of standard apps. like a Flipkart app or Amazon app or Make My Trip app or whatever it is, it must be as robust, capable of market entry, and kept using the highest standards of programming and things like that. Now, whether you like it or not, A and I have come together. AI, there is no product without AI. Since AI is what you call, it is technology, what you call inconsistent, or it pervades all technology and all enterprises and all portions of our life. If you are scrolling through Facebook Shorts, suddenly a lot of things that you have looked at in the last 2 or 3 days, all those only will come. How does it happen? There is a big AI machine working at behind in Meta, which is profiling every single person who touches that button and tries to pander to your interest by keeping on feeding you what you like. You are born into this AI era, you live with it, and you will make it better. If you don't make it better, what will happen is what happens in sci-fi movies. We are not too far off. I think before we graduate, there will be sentient AI. It is already happening in labs. Self-repair is happening of software programs. Depending, there is a program and you make a lot of demands on it. It keeps understanding what kind of demands. Some of these demands it cannot fulfill. So at the back in one corner, the software is writing another program to fulfill the kind of demands that you make and which is not able to fulfill now. So that it's own writing its own requirements, writing its own transaction flow, writing its own code flow, and comes out and tells you, hey, yesterday you asked me this question. Today I can answer it. Can I answer it for you today? The day that happens, it has become better than you. Should we be working for machines or machines should be working for us? So, who will decide that? People like you who are going to work with those machines. In the end, they are machines and you are humans. Never forget that. And to be human in everyday life, every moment, never forget that either. That is my message to these young minds. The parents who are listening may or may not understand, but your kids will come to understand this before the first semester is out. I'm telling you that. That's our group of young people here. I apologize to the organizers for taking 10, 12 minutes more than allotted, but normally microphones like me. Thank you.